welcome back to We Are Crafted in His Image. Today we are working on our third project in our Blessings of Home Cocoa and Crafts, and this is the project. It is a notepad, but isn't it so pretty? I would love to have this sitting on my desk, and I put the sentiment, what a beautiful day. So you start your day out in your office with, or in your kitchen, or wherever you put this notepad, just knowing that it's going to be a beautiful day. So let's get started with our project. I'm going to move that over here so I can see what I'm doing. In your bag, there is a bit of stuff. All right. In the envelope, you will have, let me grab my little thing here. We have a die cut, we have some ribbon and some twine, my finished die cut, we have a doily, a little label, and then there will also be some of these gems, but they're cut smaller. I just have the whole package in my kit. So now this envelope goes in next week's class, so set that aside, put that in envelope number 4. And then we have a pen and a notepad. Of course, we need those later. We've got 2 pieces of cardstock, 3 pieces. This one I've already folded on the score line just so that it would fit in your package. I folded it on one score line, but not the other one. So if you want to go ahead and fold that on that score line, and use your bone folder to give it a good crease. I'm going to move that out of my way. There you go. So that part is ready to go. Let's get our stamping going. And I'm going to remember this time I'm going to stamp the flower first so it has time to dry. So get out your die cut, your waterproof or water resistant ink, and you're going to need the large flower image for this one. And if you are using it with the pre-cut die cut, you're going to need 2 large blocks. So one for your stamp and one for actually pressing down on it. There we go. I'm going to move these out of my way. Okay, so grab my other block, have it ready to go. Now, you'll notice this paper is the shimmery white cardstock that we have. It is a little bit different. I wanted you to see the difference in how it reacts to water as compared to the regular basic white cardstock. So I opted to go with the shimmery on this project. And I'm going to go ahead and ink up my stamp. Make sure we have plenty of ink on there. And then I'm going to turn this over and line up some of those leaves. Set it down. And then use a second block to press. And again, if you guys have your die, oh, it's slightly crooked. That's alright. I think it's gonna work fine. So I am gonna clean off my block because we have some more stamping to do with this particular stamp. Let this dry and pull back in the rectangle of crumb cake paper that we have. And let's get out our soft suede ink. And I'm gonna go ahead and grab a scrap piece to put underneath. And we're going to do the same thing we did on the last 3 projects. I told you I love this as a background stamp. It makes such pretty paper. So we're going to stamp all over this using this image. So I'm going to ink up this way, hoping that I get it pretty well inked. And I'm just going to go ahead and start in one corner and work my way around. I think I'm going to flip it so that it's not identical. Let's see, maybe a sideways one. I don't know why I turned that whole thing around. And let's see, tuck that in there. One down here, and then I think I'm going to grab Put a little flower on the edge, and then I think these leaves right there. There we go. So we've got that finished. Now you could leave this just like this. However, what I did, I went ahead and used, oh, I need that ink back out. I went ahead and used our blending brushes and used it to make this look a little more rustic around the edge. So let me go ahead and grab my blending brush. Okay, so to do this, what I did, grab the blending brush, tap it on here, and you're just going to rub around, mostly around the edge. Make some areas a little darker than others. That's okay, that's kind of the look you want on this. And this one I'm not, a lot of times when I use this, I always tap off here first, but because I want some darker areas and some lighter areas, I'm totally just going with it. And we're going to do that all the way around. The edge here. There we go. Make some areas darker than others. There we go. And then what I even did, I took the edge of my ink pad and I just gently went all the way around the edges, rubbing it with that ink pad to kind of darken up that edge pretty intense. And if you've got some parts that go further in, that's okay. Again, we're going with a distressed look on this one. Just kind of rubbing that all over the edge. There we go. And then to make it even more distressed, if you want, you can take your hand, your fingernail, take your finger and just kind of rub along the edge of the paper. You can actually take a bone folder, but that's kind of harder to do. Well, there we go. Just kind of rubbing and actually tearing the edges a little bit. Roughen them up. We used to have a tool specifically for this, but it works just fine. Use your fingernails, use your bone folder. See how it's kind of roughing up those edges? Pull it in, and then I even like to take and kind of curl an edge back a little. You don't want to do all of them, but you can do like one. And there we go. That part is ready to go. So now let's see. We'll do a little bit of coloring on our flower, and then we'll be ready to assemble this one. So again, I'm going to try and zoom in for you. Have this on autofocus. Zoom in a little bit here. And I use, basically this is the same way I did on our last projects. I'm going to grab out my little, I'm using soft suede. A little bit of color in two corners. Let's move this where you can see it this time. Drop a little bit of color on, there we go. Alright, and then come in with the petals. A little bit of color. Get some of this intense color. Drop it at the base and let it bleed out. Now you notice this will bleed out more so than it did on our basic white paper. The Whisper White doesn't absorb the water as quickly as the basic white does, so you have a little more time to work with it and blend it. There we go. So right now what I'm doing is I'm pushing all that dark color towards that middle because that's where I want it to be most intense. There we go. And then I'm going to do the same thing, but I am going to skip a petal. Come in here. Get a lot of that water. My water brush has a lot of water coming out of it, so it's very liquidy. And then touch that in and let the color bleed out. Alright, and you do that on all of the petals. Go around and then come back and then start filling in the ones that are dry. Trying to think if there was anything different I did. I did them all pretty much like that. The grays, the leaves were in the smoky slate. Oh, yes, there was something I did different. On the smaller petals, I did some of the petal pink, and then with a clean brush I picked up some of the soft suede and added it to this color so that it gave it, oh, I probably added more than I needed to there. I did. Hold on. Try that again. Okay, so some petal pink. Pick up a little bit of color. Add that in there. There we go. Because I didn't want the color quite as a bright pink, I wanted it more of a vintage look. So I added a little bit of the soft suede to it to give it a little bit of a brown pink rather than a bright pink. So that now let me show you. I'll go ahead and do this small petal here. Pick up a little bit of the dark brown, touch it down. And that's pretty much it for the flowers. Ooh, my pen is really, really watery. Here is a finished one. You can see these flowers I did with the pink and soft suede mixed together, these smaller ones. And then these three bigger ones I did just in soft suede. And a very, very light soft suede in the center. And then the smoky slate on all of the leaves, just like we've done in the past ones. So there, that is the coloring part. I'm going to go ahead and set this aside. And we'll start assembling. Go ahead. Oh, we do have one more stamping to do. One more stamping to do. Let me close this up. I need out my smoky slate. No, the black. We're going to use black for it. In your kit there is a little label. And in your stamp set there is a stamp that says, "What a beautiful day for love." And which would be great if you wanted to use this as a wedding card, anniversary card, even a birthday card. But I'm going to use this on a notepad. So I'm going to do the same thing we did on a previous project, and I am going to mask off the words "for love" with just a simple piece of tape. There we go. Then I'm going to go ahead and ink this up, making sure I got it nicely inked. And then I kind of want to center the beautiful day. Oh, see, I almost did it. Almost did it. Would have completely ruined that. Take off the tape. Oh man, that would have been bad. Alright, so got that in there. Let's stamp down. Let's see. How's she look? Yay! After almost completely ruining that. Let's go ahead and zoom this back out again. I just realized I had it zoomed in. I hope you were able to see all that. Now let's go ahead and start assembling. So I'm going to do the front cover, which is, if you'll notice, this one side is longer. That's going to be your back piece. This is your front. I'm going to go ahead and assemble the front stuff before we put in the notepad. Start with Stampin' Seal. Let's go ahead and get that ready to go. There's one. And, yep. I gotta do it this way. Line up those 3 edges. Verify that it looks good before putting it down, and then go ahead and do the same thing on this one. Okay, I think I want my curved, I think I want it like that. This one, if you've messed up the edges a lot, it might be harder to eyeball those seams or those borders. But there we go. I think I got that. That looks good. Alright, so now we have some assembly to do. So in your kit you have, oh, my mistake, don't do this part yet. Take these apart. Oh, come on, come on. I know I burnished it down already. We got to put our ribbon on and it needs to tuck behind this. So let's see. You know what? I'm going to do it like this. No, I'm going to pull it apart. Come on, don't ruin it. Don't ruin it. Keep going. We got this. We got it. Oh, it's starting to tear. Be careful. I'm doing this in a hurry. Don't tear. There we go. Okay. Oh, it's fixable. Okay, in your kit, you have a piece of ribbon. You're going to want to cut it so it is just slightly longer than the edge. And not quite in the middle. Like the middle would be about here. We're going to go below the middle a little bit. Wrap that around since I've already got sticky back there. There we go. I'm going to add some more sticky. Some more adhesive back here. Go over top of what I just did. Especially over the ribbon. Make sure it's going to stay. There we go. Now let's put that back on. And this was my bottom. There we go. Okay, now we're ready to keep going. So, I'm going to kind of lay these things out. Now on this one here, what we're going to want to do is we need to cut this section away from this section. So I'm going to go right along the edge of this flower. Cut along here. I'm using the wrong scissors. Oh my word, those are my ribbon scissors. I have to punish myself for that. Alright, and then I'm going to cut down here, and I am going to cut this larger, okay, there's 2 large leaves here. This large leaf I want to keep with the bottom section, and this large leaf I want to keep with the top section. So I'm going to cut between those 2 leaves. There we go. So that is our 2 parts cut. So one of them is going to go down here. And then, oh, these 2 are going to need dimensionals on them. So I'm going to go ahead and get that going. Whoop, 1, 2, I want to half one so I can split that apart. Give it a little bit more support. And then actually this bottom part is going to overlap the label, so I don't want any I'm looking at this one to see this area here. I don't want any dimensionals, and I can feel I've already put one right there, so I need to move that up. Let's see. Put one behind this leaf. Put one here. and one here, and that should work. That should work well. Okay, I think that's all the dimensionals I need. So that's gonna go here. And basically all I'm doing right now is trying to figure out where this is gonna go, because that'll be the first thing to go down. It's gonna go right about there. Adhesive. There we go. Tuck it just slightly underneath and to the left. So underneath this ribbon towards the left. There we go. And some adhesive on this. And actually, because it's going to go on this ribbon, I think I want to use my liquid so that it will go through the ribbon to the paper beneath. So I'm going to go ahead and put on that. And it's going to go basically towards the top part of that ribbon. See, it's even above the ribbon there. Just like that. I'm going to hold it for a second or two, get that to dry. While that's drying, let me go ahead and pull backings off of my dimensionals. And I'm going to pull the backings off of this one as well. There we go. And just put a little bit of adhesive there. I'm going to stick that on. And then the key thing is you want to cover this area that you cut. And there we go. Make sure that's straight. It's not. There we go. All right, and then there are two more steps. We're going to take actually, we're going to tie that on in a minute because we need some of this for the pen, and we want to make sure we have enough of that. So let's go ahead and put that on. So the first thing you're going to do is grab your notepad and your pen. Take your ribbon, wrap it around your pen, and make sure you have an inch or so overlap. Okay, or an inch or so of both ends hanging out. And then I'm going to use my snips here. So let me see, that's about a 3-inch piece of ribbon. Okay, since we have that set aside, let's go ahead and, yeah, we'll do this part. All right, now I'm going to grab out some tear and tape. Tear and tape. I think I need 2 pieces. I need 1 piece on the back of this side. This part's always kind of tricky. Come on. I can't get it to stick to the ribbon enough that I can get the backing off. There it goes. There it goes. Okay, now this piece needs to go underneath your notepad, wherever you want your pen to be at. So I like to kind of do this and make sure. Then I'm going to stick this piece on this side of the ribbon. Come on. There we go. Move that. Wrap that around the pen. Make sure it's not too tight so you can pull the pen in and out. And then go ahead and lay that down. Alright, and now your notepad, oh, it is a little too tight. My notepad won't. Make sure your pen is at the edge. Otherwise this notepad's not going to be able to fit. Alrighty. And now for the notepad, what I like to do is put a piece of tear and tape across the top edge. And then you don't necessarily have to, but just to make sure this isn't going to come off of here, I'm going to put another piece of tear and tape right across the top of that, like that. Peel off the backing. Peel the backing off of this piece. And then you can put this all the way to the top and have a larger border at the bottom, but I'm going to actually center mine right in the middle of this. I'm lining up with that fold. Make sure it's not going to go over the fold. And then lay it down. There we go. Our inside is done. And now for the outside, to finish off that last little bit of ribbon you have left over, you're going to slide underneath here. Actually, you're not even going to slide underneath there. You're going to lay it on top, whichever side you like. And then you have a little piece of twine that you're going to slide underneath that ribbon. Maybe. Come on. Get under there. I saw you. Where'd you go? There you are. And then you're simply going to tie the two pieces of ribbon together with a knot. So, tie that. Tie again. And there you have it. So then use your fabric scissors and trim it however you want it to be trimmed. So I'm going to trim mine in these two directions like that. And there we go. The very last thing is a few of these really pretty polished dots. And you'll notice there are some pinkish toned ones that are the perfect color to coordinate with this. So you should have 3 in your kit. And I'm going to put one down here. And that's the big one. And then I'm going to grab a small one. Come here. Maybe right about there. And then another small one up here in the gray. And there we have it. Finished project number 3 for Coco and Crafts. What do you think? I think it's so pretty. What a pretty gift to give to somebody too, huh? There you go. Until next time, God's love and blessings to you. Bye.